Thanks for taking the time to join us on our channel today.
Great, how are you?
Great, thank you. Now, before I get into the bulk of my questions, I was hoping you could give us a quick introduction on yourself and the company, given that it's your first time on our channel.
Sure. Palamine is a company active in southeastern Peru. My background is entrepreneurial. In this space, I sold our last company, Soltoro, to Agnico Eagle. We spun out Palamina. Soltoro was a silver-focused company. I wanted to try the gold space, and having said that, we've also got a silver focus in southeastern Peru. We've been active for about 8 years in Peru. We've spent most of the time accumulating assets, specifically in the Puno Orogenic Gold Belt and in an area called the Santa Lucia district, all in Puno, southeastern Peru.
Awesome. And I'm a little bit curious to know about what do you see that the biggest competitive advantage Palomina has, whether that's technically, geographically, or how your team is structured compared to all the other junior exploration companies.
Well, as most people are aware, we're at all-time silver, all-time copper, all-time high gold prices, and those are the three commodities we focus on. Peru has a tremendous amount of silver and copper. I would rank it in the top five in the world for those commodities. In the electric age, silver and copper are going to be the base metal and precious metal, the most important, no doubt, going forward. And obviously, the gold market with everything that's going on with debt in the world and fiat currencies going down, gold is another asset. So in Peru, we secured a lot of assets in the Puno Orogenic Belt. It's one of the we have the largest position. It's the most underexplored area in Peru, and we've been there long enough that two of them are fully permitted for drilling, and I've seen drilling in the last 2 years. And then in the Santa Lucia district, it's near our field office in the same area. That area is a very well-known copper silver high grade area, and there's lots of companies active in that area now where we have a tremendous land position because of starting in 2017. So we're really well positioned for the upcoming bull market in gold, silver, and copper.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. And I know you touched a little bit on it on your last point, but there's always investors watching your videos, kind of looking for their next industry investment. So, what would you say is the core value proposition that differentiates Palomina from other junior miners in the Peru region?
Well, we're undervalued because we're on the greenfield side of the equation, and we're starting to see a lot of junior exploration companies with big drill holes gain tremendous momentum. So we're finally back in a market where our market capitalization we can at least reach a market cap where it makes sense to drill these early stage projects. And as you know, there's a shortage of these. So there's a bit of a demand starting for these. We're still not quite there, but I suspect we're going to get a market. So the tremendous advantage, obviously, is if you look at the Agnico Eagles and the senior mining companies, I'm not going to say they're fully valued, but they've definitely gone through the bull market curve of commodity prices going higher. So we sit below that, and we're below the mid tier. So I think this is a very good time to be getting involved in companies that have good management, have proven themselves, and spent a lot of time working on their assets and are ready for drill discovery. And so we really have three projects in the drill discovery phase that are very, very exciting to me.
Yeah, awesome. And touching on actually one of your projects, you recently came out with a news release about identifying a strong copper anomaly at your Galena silver copper manganese project. So could you explain a little bit about the significance of this news and what it could mean for your company moving forward?
So the Galena project sits below Lake Lagunitas, but to the northeast we have Aftermath Silver. We have a project north of the Lake Lagunitas called Volcano, and Barrick is active in the district as well as Fresnillo and Ivanhoe Copper. And so we have, I think, the largest position of any junior. Again, we've been accumulating ground very successfully since 2017. There's still a bit of a lag in terms of people picking up ground, in my opinion. Everybody is project focused. So we've been very aggressive in this district. And so I think Aftermath is well over, they just completed their last payment. They're well over 20 million Canadian in total purchase for that asset. They're going down a manganese battery metal road, but it really is a high grade silver copper play. And so we have the same exact signature in the same rock across the lake. And so it's pretty exciting. Our at Galena, the copper anomaly we're talking about sits in the Takasa volcanic. So the limestone unit on their properties at surface is where they have their big deposit. Well, that outcrops at the lake, then it goes under the lake, outcrops again on our property, then disappears below the volcanic. So we did some IP that mapped, we believe, the volcanics. It's a theory at this stage, but there's a lot of mineralization seeping up through the Takasa volcanics. And so we're just doing XRF. We're doing a big program over the top of the property, and then we're going to do gravity to drill the best targets. So it's really an exciting time. We expect to be drilling this property within the next 7 months.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And that actually kind of flows into my next question, which are if you have any short-term catalysts you could share with us, just so that, our viewers can get a little bit of a teaser of what's coming up in the new year.
Sure. Uh, on the silver copper side, our plan is to spin those assets out into a new public company. The concept really is that this is the best silver copper market I've ever seen. It's really
Yeah.
an interesting time. And again, in the last round, I focused on a lower grade uh, property, and I've elected to find things near surface that are very high grade copper silver. And I think the trajectory for both those commodities is quite good. Again, I look at Peru as being the Saudi Arabia from 1905, where you're going into the electric age, much like you did into the oil age or petrol age, and it's just early stages. And Peru has its challenges. Obviously, there's things going on there that make it more difficult to drill, but we've actually got to the stage where all the ground's permitted. We required all the internal claims. We spent a lot of time getting that portion done. And then on the gold side, we actually have two properties that are fully permitted for drilling. Both were drilled in 2024. Where one of our properties, which our flagship gold property, Usicayos, has a zone, the Cayos zone, where it's 7 meters of 18 grams is a high. We want to drill that area. So we're in the rainy season now, so we can't drill there. But the plan is to spin out the copper silver assets and go back. The drill sits at site right now, and the plan is to start to drill it next June. So those two catalysts, and then we have in our 2-page newsletter. You can find it on our webpage. There's a company called Hannon Silver that has a tremendous market cap. They've got a sedimentary copper, high grade silver, high grade copper project that JOGMEC, which is the Japanese government, have joint ventured, and they're set to drill that property in the next year. And so there's some challenges there with community, but they've just raised a bunch of money and have set aside a large amount of money to resolve them. I actually sat down with their principal person in Peru in the last 2 days to have a little discussion about it and some other things that are going on, and I'm confident they're going to drill there. So that there are no, well, I shouldn't say there's indications of sedimentary coppers in Latin America and JOGMEC, and there's another group in Colombia that are chasing another one of these with Freeport McMoran, but JOGMEC's earning is 35 million. So we picked up the property north of their property that's in trend, and if they hit, we feel that that property will gain significant value.
Yeah, that sounds great. And sounds like there's a lot of things coming up soon. And I'll be
Sure.
sure to link that newsletter you mentioned in our comments below so our viewers can
Great.
access it. So kind of moving on to my final question and taking a look at the bigger picture, I'm curious to know your long-term vision for Palamina. Like, what does success look like for the company over the next 5, 10 years? And maybe how do you plan to achieve that?
So I believe the shareholders should be aligned. I should be aligned with the shareholders. So my wife and I have put over 3.5 million, and we put 700,000 plus in the last round. I bought some for my kids. I really believe strongly that we're going into a super cycle in commodities that speaks more to a lack of investment for the last many years. And so we've been patiently waiting for this cycle. So, from my perspective, in terms of what I'd like to see, I've already defined a fairly significant silver deposit in Sol Técnico. So, the challenge for me is not financial, it's really, and it's not even reputation. I don't care so much about that, but it really is trying to find more deposits. And I'd like to define one that goes into production in my lifetime. That's really what I'm in
Yeah.
this for. It's a little bit personal, It's one of these things, and it's not about putting your name on it. It's more about, we go into these Latin American countries and adding value. We talk about it a lot, but really adds value is when you get a significant asset into production, and it's you can count the amount of people that actually have that accomplishment on their balance, or their balance sheet, but on their resume. And so
Yeah.
I'm getting old. And it's going to be difficult because I think it takes a long time to get these things to production. But my personal goal is that, and if I can find something tremendous. I think this area of the world, there's a lot of senior companies. I think Karani, which is the undeveloped silver play, is going to get into production with these prices. I think the sedimentary copper deposits that are in the Americas are going to start to be developed, even though they're in the jungle, because just the tremendous the commodities. So I think you're going to see tremendous investment. It's like the thesis stepping into our space. You'll mark it in time, in 100 years from now. So I'm pretty confident. It's a macro outlook, but that's sort of my focus.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And it's so nice to see that you're super passionate about this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us today,
Okay.
Andrew. It was so great to hear about Palamina and what's on the horizon for the company, both short term and long term. I want to wish you the best in the future, and I look forward to hopefully staying in touch about all the great work you're doing.
Okay, thank you, and Merry Christmas, everyone. It's that time of year, so we'll say that. And be generous to people. It's important. All right.
Yes. Thank you.